This is the Recruit the Employer podcast, and you're listening to episode 103, How to Stop Hating Your Mondays. Welcome to the Recruit the Employer podcast, a show for the ambitious, action-oriented career woman who wants to live out her purpose, rise to the top of her industry, and be seen as a leader at work. In 30 minutes or less, we'll walk you through the latest strategies to land your dream job, blast through imposter syndrome, and make the money you deserve. I'm your host, Jena, ex-Wall Streeter turned career coach and founder of Recruit the Employer. But more importantly, I'm on a mission to help you fall in love with your work again. So grab a glass of wine, get ready to be coached, and tune in to your weekly boost of career confidence. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Recruit the Employer podcast. I am your host, Jena, and I am a recoverer of the Sunday Scaries. So I am coming to you today, and I know exactly what it feels like when you hate going to work on Mondays. I get so many clients who come to me who are exhausted, who are burnt out, who are frustrated, who hate their jobs, and they are just dreading going into work back on Mondays and are just praying for that TGIF, get me to Friday, get me to the weekend. I can't wait till my day off, and just really, really upset that they have to go to work on a Monday. So if you're listening to this episode, most likely you're like, yes, Jena, I hate Mondays. I want to stop hating Mondays. How do I do that if I have to stay in my job? So obviously part of what you can do to stop hating your Mondays is start to evaluate, why do I hate my Mondays in the first place, right? Why do I hate going to this job? What about this job is not fulfilling to me? If you do not have clarity on this, you know what I'm going to say. I highly, highly, highly recommend the Career Map Journal. You can go to recruittheemployer.com/journal. The first section of that journal is all about getting career clarity, helping you understand what's working, what's not working, getting you to dream again into your career, some soul care that you have, and then to discern what the next right move is for you. So that's the first step. If you're realizing like, gosh, I hate my Mondays, we need to first evaluate, why do you hate your Mondays and what are you going to do about it, right? So let's say, for instance, you realize, okay, maybe I do need to switch jobs. That's one way to stop hating your Mondays. It's very simple, very straight to the point, is start to find a new opportunity to start to move towards something else. Now, if you're in a position where you either just got to your new job and you're just exhausted, maybe you don't hate your job, you're just feeling really burnt out, you're feeling really frustrated, you're just praying for Friday every single week, you get into Monday and you're just like, oh, Friday, right? I have so many clients that have been there before, that have come to me and said that they just live for the weekend, when meanwhile you're spending about 5 days or more, 40 hours or more in your workplace. And so it can feel really frustrating when we hate our Mondays. So if finding a new job isn't an option for you, today's episode really is for you. It's to help you understand, how do you stop hating Mondays and start loving them again? So I was even realizing that myself, who, started her own business, was starting to just kind of dread Monday morning. And, I liked what I was doing, y'all. I created my job for myself. I was doing work that I was excited about. I was building a business that was my own. I was excited about the creative projects I was working on, but I was still getting to this exhausted point by Sunday evening where I was like, oh, I've got all these meetings this week. I'm so stressed out. Oh my gosh, I hate Mondays, right? And I was like, that's a problem, right? If I'm doing this and I created my job and I wasn't loving Mondays, what were people who were in 9-to-5 occupations, who are maybe in corporate or startup world and didn't have the option to create their own careers? If I was feeling that, gosh, I don't know how y'all were feeling. I'm sure you all were feeling that as well. So I started to think about, what are some ways that we can remedy Mondays, or just to look forward to Mondays instead of dreading Mondays. And I think what often happens is, if you notice like kind of the work week, I've done kind of a little bit of study on this. I've heard some podcasts about it, where when we had kind of this industrial revolution and people started working in more the knowledge-based type work, you have things like happy hours that started to help people decompress after a day's long work, right? Where they're in the office and they leave the office, that 9-to-5 Dolly Parton-esque looking vibe, right? People are living for the weekend because they're frustrated in the confines of where they are currently at. And so people were just naturally, we're kind of wired as a society to look forward to Fridays, to our free time, when really we should be looking excited at Monday and the opportunities that we have. We want to be excited looking into our week and not just dreading it and hoping for the weekend. So I started thinking a little bit more about this and a little bit about how we look at work in general. And I thought, gosh, I need to create some system in my life where I'm just excited to go to work on Monday. And here is the number one thing that I did to get myself excited for Monday and not just for Friday. Okay, I'm going to let you in on the secret. I do what is called the Monday method. Now, if you've been around, whether on Instagram or LinkedIn, you know that I've talked about the Monday method. And the Monday method is all about creating space on your Mondays. It's just for YOU. It's doing the best that you can to ease into your Mondays instead of creating this panic and frustration as you start the week. Now, some of that's going to be inevitable, right? Like if you have a Monday morning meeting that cannot be moved because your boss has it, like that's going to have to happen. Instead, I want you to think about what are some opportunities in the middle of your day that you can schedule some me time. Maybe it's you just spend 15 minutes where you're reading your novel that you're reading, right? Or you call your grandparents, or you go get your nails done, or you go out for lunch instead of eating it at your desk, or you spend some time with your career map journal. You know, I'm going to recommend that. Do something exciting or fun that you can look forward to on a Monday. And I want you to plan it out. The biggest problem that I even found with myself is I wouldn't do the Monday method when I didn't plan it or put it into my calendar. So I want you to do it the week before. So I would recommend if you have the career map journal, it's going to make it a lot easier for you because you can actually plan for it. So you plan that Friday when you are reflecting on your week, you start planning for the following week. You decide, what am I going to do on Monday to make Monday fun? You've got to make your Mondays fun. You've got to do that. So I want you to think through what are the things that sound really fun to you. I've had clients who have just gone for a walk, who've gone to an exercise class, who called, a grandparent or a friend, who left a Marco Polo for somebody, who went and got their nails done, who went and got a little mini massage, who just read a book, who just stayed off their phone for 15 minutes, right? It does not have to be super long. It has to be something that can get you motivated and excited about your work week. So that's the first thing that I'm going to recommend is to make sure that you're creating space in your day. Okay. Get your whole team involved with it. If you're a leader, I would highly recommend imploring the rest of your team to do it as well. It's going to show great leadership. It's going to show that you value work-life balance. It's going to show that you understand and respect your colleagues. So encourage other people to do it with you on your team, to create a space to do the Monday method so that you're just not pining for Friday. So that's one way to stop hating your Mondays. The second way, or the first way actually that we talked about, was get a new job. The second way is the Monday method. The third way is actually do something that you're going to feel good about yourself. So I know for myself that dressing up and looking good or feeling confident in myself helps me feel better during the day. So I know for myself, there's some women out there that just love the yoga pants. They feel most confident in those. That's not me. Okay. I feel most confident when I'm wearing a nice pair of jeans. Maybe I got a pair of heels on. I did my makeup. I did my hair. I feel good about myself. Whatever that means for you. Okay. Whatever that means for you. When do you feel your best? Do that on Mondays. Maybe it's just you're like, I'm going to wear red lipstick on Mondays. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to wear red lipstick on Mondays. Sometimes adorning ourselves is a beautiful thing. I think sometimes in the modern world, we almost look down on women who want to do that kind of stuff. I know for myself, I'm like, I'm a serious woman. I don't need to be, fussing over what I look like. But at the end of the day, it does make me feel better, right? Doing my hair makes me feel better. Wearing cute clothes makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm presenting myself and I'm actually doing better work when I'm dressed as the person that I want to be perceived as, right? So it's kind of like dressing for the job that you want. On those Monday mornings, dress in your powerhouse suit, right? Wear your power suit, wear that beautiful dress, put on some makeup, make yourself feel like you're engaged for the workplace, not just like you rolled out of bed, because I can guarantee the work quality will be better when you feel like you are in your best self. Okay. So that's the third thing, is looking really good. The fourth thing that I want you to do is I want you to think about connecting with somebody. So this could be a part of your Monday method, but having true connection with people either on your team or externally. Maybe it's somebody at home, maybe it's a pet, maybe it's a friend from across the country, whatever it looks like. Connecting with somebody on a Monday is going to make you feel better. Okay. Connection. We as humans need and crave connection. This year has been a crazy year where we haven't gotten that connection, especially if you are working from home still and you are not in the office where you don't have the opportunity to connect with somebody. I would proactively plan for it. Okay. We are not meant to be isolated and alone. Even my introverts, you need people around you, right? So it's really important for you to recognize what are some ways that I can engage or connect with real humans, whether it's virtually on the phone, but I need to connect with somebody. That's going to help you start your days off really, really well. Okay. So it's an interesting stat that I found that 70% of our lives are weekdays. So why are we spending so much of our time hating our work days, right? Another thing that you can do to help prepare for that week and to get rid of those Monday blues is actually prepare for it either the week prior, as we recommend doing in the career map journal, or if you plan for it on Sunday night. So I know a lot of people that have done this in the past where they plan for their work week on Sunday night so they know what they're going into. What often can happen for people where they feel really overwhelmed is they just try to avoid work at all costs. And then Monday morning rolls around, they're like, crap, I got so much to do. I don't feel organized. I don't feel set up. I don't feel in control of my day. I feel really overwhelmed. And that's just a really bad way to start your week off. So one of the things that I recommend is planning for the week ahead, either on Friday or Sunday night. So sometimes I do it Friday, sometimes I do it Sunday night. But it's pretty typical for me not to work at all on Saturday, but on Sunday evening, I'll usually look at my calendar, see what's going on, write down for the next day, what are my top 3 priorities, and just focusing on that so that when I enter into my work week, I really have an idea of what I need to focus on. And it may change, but it just gives me some kind of comfort as I go into Mondays and I don't dread it. If I have my Monday method planned out, if I know what my priorities are for that first day, and if I know what meetings I have ahead of me, it helps me to really enter into the week secure, feeling like I'm in control, and then ultimately making sure that I'm not hating and dreading so that I'm just waiting for Friday. Okay. So we've also honestly made hating Mondays a thing, right? We've made hating Mondays in our society kind of like a kitschy, sarcastic thing. And while it is kind of funny, I also think that we need to create a wave of where people are excited to go to work on Mondays or where people are excited to engage instead of leaning into this sarcasm and leaning into this, oh my gosh, I hate Mondays, right? Instead, I want you to push against the status quo. I want you to push against that feeling that everybody else has maybe in the office that, oh, it's Monday, I'm dreading Monday, it's a Monday, right? We're just feeling that overwhelm, right? We can feel really, really frustrated and we can feel really, really tired. And we just believe what everybody else is thinking, right? So instead, I want you to be the champion in your office that's going to be dedicated to loving Mondays again. I can only imagine if there was one person on your team that was really all about Mondays instead of just all about TGIF, right? That what a difference it would make on the culture of your team, right? What it would make it the culture of your team. The other thing that I would recommend as you're thinking about Mondays is not to jam pack your weekend. Okay. Not to jam pack your weekend. I have so many people, even myself, I've done this where I've had sometimes you can't avoid it, right? Sometimes you have a jam packed weekend, but traveling and doing all these things on these weekends because it's my free time and I get to escape from work. And then Monday rolls around and you're like, I'm so exhausted from my weekend. You need some time to decompress over the weekend as well. That's another way to not make your Mondays horrible, is to make sure that you leave space in your weekends to relax, to decompress, to be alone, to read, to reflect, to journal the best that you can. I know people that have kids, it's going to be a little bit harder, or if you are constantly a traveler, that's going to be a little bit harder, but figure out what feels most restful for you and just carve out some time over the weekend to make sure you get that, right? Make sure that you get that. I know that when I was in my early 20s, I would try to jam pack and have event after event after event and thing after thing after thing. And I really, really tried to make sure that I realized that there was a difference in my week and there was a difference in my Mondays when I allowed myself some space to relax and decompress as I thought about going into my week. It made me less anxious. It made me less worried about looming deadlines. It made me less frustrated. And instead, it just made me excited to hop into work and to see people again. I think that's been probably the hardest part about this past year because we haven't been able to go in to see our people. In some instances, we're like, I'm so glad I haven't been able to see my coworkers. They drive me nuts. But for a lot of people, there's got to be at least one person in your office that you really have loved being around. I know for myself, at every single one of my jobs, even the ones that I did not like, there were people in the office that I really enjoyed connecting with and being around and being with. And so that's why I think the connection piece is so, so, so important to us not hating our Mondays and just waiting for Fridays. So just to kind of recap here, today was a really short episode, but I wanted you to think differently about your Mondays, right? I wanted you to think about what does it look like to instead of just following the status quo, instead of following pack mentality that we're supposed to hate our Mondays, what if you instead buck the system? We're like, no, I'm going to love going to work. You either A, need to find a new job, or B, find ways to make your job right now more enjoyable. And that's where we spent the majority of our time talking about today. We talked about implementing the Monday method. I want to hear about your Monday method. So if you're thinking like, gosh, I need to create this on my team, I need to do this. One, I would recommend getting the Career Map Journal. I've said that again and again and again. Get a tool that's going to help remind you to do it because it's very easy to not do it, right? It's very easy to be like, I'll get to that. Or like, oh yeah, I'll do that. But you don't actually plan for it. The journal is going to help you plan for it. Again, you can get that at recruittheemployer.com/journal and just order some for your team. If you're going to order them for your team, send me an email, support@recruittheemployer.com, and we'll make sure you get a discount and all packaged up. Okay. So that's the first thing, is really getting that, Monday method intact. Okay. I also want you to think about connecting with real humans on your Monday, planning for your Monday. So we're either reflecting at the end of the week or planning for your Monday on Sunday. I also don't want you to pack your week so that it's super, super crazy. Okay. Weekend. So that's super, super crazy. So that when the week comes that you're just like, I'm already exhausted and the week just started, right? We need to make sure that we are allowing ourselves the space to enter into the work week as the best version that we can. And the other piece of the puzzle is showing up and aesthetically as the best person that we want to be. So it's not vain to want to look good on a Monday, right? It's actually smart if you feel like it actually does make you look or act better, feel better, do better work. I know for myself, I talked about that. I remember kind of quick story in the side, and we'll let you guys go on your merry way and actually engage on your Wednesdays as you're listening to this and preparing for your Mondays. But when I started working from home, I realized, oh gosh, it's really hard to want to get dressed up because I can just roll out of bed, get on my computer, not really have much separation between my work in my bedroom and work in my kitchen and work in my living room. And I can just wear, sweatpants and no one's going to know. I started to just feel not great, right? I started to get a little depressive. I started to not feel like I was performing really good work. I was just tired all the time. And I switched that and started making sure that I got up at the same time, had the same routine, got dressed, brushed my teeth, made myself a nice meal, and put on a really cute outfit every day. And I would go down, because this is a while ago when I did this, I would go down to our office or my apartment building. They had coffee available. So I'd go get coffee and kind of see if there was anybody I would see. And they always used to come in. I'm like, you work from home, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I work from home. They're like, why are you always so dressed up? And I was like, if I don't get dressed up for the day, I will feel like my day is not productive. So for you, think about what it is that's going to make you feel really good about yourself. Wear that. Awesome, guys. Well, I hope today was helpful. Today was a quick episode to really think through what are the things that are going to make your Mondays better. How can you engage in your workplace so that Mondays don't feel like a drag, but instead are an inspiring day to start off your week that leads you into the rest of the week and into the weekend. And just as a reminder, the Career Map Journal is still available to be purchased. So if you want to buy that for your team, I highly, highly recommend doing that. Be the champion on your team that gets people to understand where their value is in their career. Again, you can get that at recruittheemployer.com/journal. Would love to see you there. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week. Thanks for listening to the Recruit the Employer podcast. If you've been loving this podcast and it's been helping you approach your career in a brand new way, I have 2 shameless asks. Number 1, make sure you hit subscribe right this very second. That way you won't miss a single episode. And number 2, would you give us a review? Reviews help other ambitious career women like you know that this podcast is the place to be and helps the podcast climb to the top of the charts. Think of it as some good career karma. And as always, if you want to learn more about the topics we discussed today or are ready to take massive action and invest in yourself and your career, we would be honored to help you. Head on over to recruittheemployer.com/call to book your free strategy session. Regardless, we will see you next week.